Now, are the rails coming off for Transnet, or is there hope for the state-owned transport and utility company? This week, Transnet's Group CEO Portia Derby resigned after 3 years at the helm. Transnet's rail and port operations are crucial for moving goods around and for exports, crucial for this economy. Transnet says that the CEO of Transnet Pipelines, Mesela Phillips, will replace Derby on an acting basis. To discuss, we're joined now by the CEO of the African Rail Industry Association, Mesela Nhlapo. Ms. Nhlapo, thank you for being with us as always. So you come at this from a private sector, people and businesses involved in rail. You were talking about the collapse of Transnet last year, warning about it. Is that happening, do you believe?
Look, it takes a long time. Good evening. It takes a long time for, I think, South Africans to react, and until the situation gets worse. And I think where we are at the moment, we have an infrastructure that is collapsed, and there's the signaling system as well. So we have warned, and I do wish that government would have listened to us much earlier, from say 24 months ago.
It sounds like government, in the form of Minister Gordhan, was concerned. He had asked the board to look at her suitability for the post, and also the head of Transnet Freight Rail. So was that a push, seemingly? We don't know the exact circumstances, but it seems like a push. Do you welcome it?
Look, we welcome any change that changes the landscape of the rail industry in general. And we do hope that a CEO that has a good background in running the railways will be appointed. But on our side, it's not a matter of accepting or not accepting, but what we are accepting is that since Transnet is an ARIA member, we would have Transnet on the table to make sure that we are aligned with and to assist Transnet to get the freight back on rail.
Yeah. Portia Derby was appointed to turn Transnet around, but Transnet woes have worsened under her watch. Do you agree with that? And is that because she couldn't deal with the issues? Is that what you're suggesting? Perhaps not the right person, the right fit for the job?
I think when she came in, the brief was to clean up and deal with corruption. So I'm not sure if there was a specific announcement from the ministry point of view, from the board point of view, that we keep the volumes as they are. And at the end of the day, Ms. Derby is the group CEO. She will not necessarily be involved in the freight side. For me, also, it's not about having them being, having the required skills or not. The numbers speaks for themselves in terms of where we find ourselves. And I think 1064 contracts being set aside at the time had a huge role on where we find ourselves as a country.
So you're talking about the contracts, correct me if I'm wrong, to essentially loan out parts of the railway system to private players who would then revitalize those areas, and ultimately the whole system would be fixed, but there was no uptake. Why did it fail?
Look, I think the conditions that were in the Transnet document were not in line with the national rail policy. And I think we took quite a while to find each other, and working very well with the Department of Transport, Operation Vulindlela, we had managed to convince Transnet to go back to the drawing board and comply with what is written in the national rail policy. If it's something that is outside the national rail policy, it should be corrected.
So where is that process right now?
At the moment, where we are, and I think it's important that this is directly to the government, implement third-party access immediately, because the economy depends on it. Where we are at the moment is that the rail policy is not being implemented as yet, but we need to move very fast.
All right, so third-party access, that would mean those private players coming on board. Thank you for that view, CEO of the African Rail Industry Association, Mesela Nhlapo.